Good afternoon, everybody. Jamin Butler here, one of the general managers in the 3 to Hard Way Fantasy Football League. The year is 2020, and we decided to switch it up. We've been at this now 13 or 14 years. I'll let a few of our guests coming on later correct me. But we decided to, get away from the silly old format of just being in group me, texting, arguing when we see each other. And this year we're recording a podcast. I'll be one of your hosts, along with Anthony Aduba, General Manager of Jon Snow 2.0. And we'll be having guests, specifically league managers, joining us all season, giving you their reactions to the week's events, talking about the matchups ahead, and anything else going on in the League of Chaos. Hope you guys enjoy. Yo, all right, we're here. Episode 1, League of Chaos. We got a special guest joining us, Mr. Darren Holmes, General Manager of the Brock Blockers, founding of the Hard Way League, sir. What's happening?
Yes. How you doing, sir? How you doing, Mr. Jamin?
I'm blessed.
I'm doing good.
Bro, how you doing?
Doing good. Doing real good.
Man, listen, we got a lot going on in the league this year. It's 2020, though. We've been doing this like 14, 15 years, man. Felt that this year we had to step it up.
Yeah, we made a few changes in the league that I'm really surprised about. A few years ago, I definitely went to do PPR and keeper league, and it was looked down upon very, very greatly in this league. Nobody wanted to make any changes. We wanted to be the grandpa league. So I just took it for what it was and just, whatever. This is the one league where everything will be standard and regular and, no changes will be made. So I'm very surprised this year everybody took a chance and a lot of changes have been made.
You and me both, bro. And I got to give you your flowers, man. I got to give you your salute because you started the Champions League specifically because we refused to make any changes or adapt to the new reality in the 3 to Hard Way League, where I've been blessed to, participate, learn a little bit about keeper, learn a little bit about PPR. So I'm glad to see that we've adapted that to 3 to Hard Way this year, man. But tell me something. You were one of the founding members of 3 to Hard Way League. How did that all start?
Basically, I just, I was looking into fantasy football, and it caught my interest. I was like, man, this is real cool. So this is back during the Lawndale days, El Camino days, So just everybody hanging on Lawndale, and I was just like, hey, let's try fantasy football. So everybody was down with it. So they started off with me, you, Buki, Cam, BC. We're all like original members, along with some other people who are no longer in the league. We just needed to fill the slots at the time because not everybody was into fantasy football. So we started the league, and, it was real fun the first couple of years, as we worked up the kinks and got, people that we rocked with more than eventually join in, which made the league a lot more fun and more competitive. It's to where it is now. This, to me, it's like the pride league, like this is the league where
Absolutely.
I don't care about the money. It's more about the pride. Like, I just hate losing to certain people.
It's the bragging rights, right? We got, the fact you say you hate Larry. We started something called Rivalry Week back when I was GM. When I was a commissioner. This was like 2010, 2011 or something. I forget, I don't know exactly the year. But specifically because we had such fierce rivalries, like folks that had beef in fantasy football, they had beef when it came to talking about basketball, had beef when it came, basically if it was time to talk, it was some beef, right? And fantasy football gave us an outlet, bro. When I think about it, what we've been doing this last few years, it's just been a way to stay connected, a way to outlet, to, have fun, to, it's a competitive nature to it, but it's all a fun league, right? Like you said, it's for pride, right? It's bragging rights amongst your boys that you can say, yeah, I whooped you, I blew you out, I'm the champ, you don't know what you're talking about, I draft better than you, or whatever you want to talk about.
Yes.
And so a lot of folks take a lot of pride with it. And this year, we had some new emotions come out as we were trying to get the league started. Bro. The commissioner got started late as usual, sending out messaging, getting folks ready. He had I think a long ballot that started everything via text message. And I was cool with it. I'm always ready to get going on fantasy football. I prefer the earlier the better so we can plan, because I know we busy men. So what did you feel about it?
Basically, it's the same way I felt with any other league. Like, basically, the uncertainty of what's going on with football and sports as a whole due to COVID. nobody was really like pushing football because honestly, I didn't think it was really gonna happen. And once we got closer to the date, and in the Champion League, I went ahead to the draft a little early. And once that started, then Obi kind of was like, you know what, fantasy football is really happening. So it got him excited. And that's when he, you know, of course, out of excitement, he went ahead and just pushed everything. The fact that we kind of waited last minute, it tended to, you know, it looked like it was a quick push, but it was just excitement that fantasy football is back. Football is back. You know, usually preseason gets you going for fantasy football. Like once you know preseason's here, in the beginning of August, you know it's time for football. But there was no preseason. There was no preseason, so it was just like you didn't really feel football was here. Basketball still being played. It just felt different this year. So I don't blame anything he did. You know what I'm saying? Like we all busy in our lives. We all going through a transition. Zoom calls with the kids take up your whole day. Like it's not how it used to be. So you know, this is a grown man with a life. So the fact that it went how it went, just you know, didn't make any sense. And
yeah, I agree. It's so we got a text September 1st. It was from Commissioner Obi. It said a few fantasy notes. Number one, Henry needs to deliver the championship belt to Book. Take his picture, send it to me so I can make it to Abby for the group chat. That's a dope idea, Henry. I didn't know why Henry hadn't delivered the belt already. All right.
Yeah, I know. You know, you do paper champ anyways.
Number two, I'm thinking about 9 p.m. next Tuesday for our draft. Is that okay? He asked about the draft date. 3, Eric was last place, and we voted for there to be a punishment for last place. Now, this was controversial. Please offer suggestions. My suggestion is Eric pays $200 to cover the cost of the vote. I also feel that whoever is in last place every year should be forced to pay dues for losing, and that $125 can either go to the winner or split evenly amongst the other 11 players. If y'all cool with that, cool. If y'all have other suggestions for last place, please post here. So I'm gonna stop there. The whole last place. He added a lot of context to that for something that we wanted, but we didn't really define previously. At least that was my interpretation for last place. What was your thought about it?
The last place thing, it was more of like an excitement thing. The fact that we didn't previously come up with the loser rule, we should have came up with it before somebody became last place. So it would have had less controversy and it would have, you know, more input into it. So the fact that we waited to after somebody lost to come up with the rule, to come up with the punishment per se, I think that was a little last minute. So maybe that should have just been left out and used for next year. Just because of the fact that, you know, we should have come up with the punishment before. Like the same thing with other league. Like we voted for punishment, but we didn't come up with a punishment. So I didn't even talk about the punishment for the last place person.
That's a good point. I mean, we right now we're nitpicking about what could have been done. I look at it as, yeah, we didn't have a punishment. We can decide on one right now. Like we can decide, but it didn't have to be nothing drastic. I think that, and that's, I think he just maybe should have worded it a little. If it worded different when it came off, but I don't know. It didn't really spark no emotion for me. I don't see why people got all up in arms. Number 4, is everyone okay with the scoring? Any changes you want to make, just post it here and we'll vote. 5, keeper league. I'm like, fuck, we still voting to be a keeper league. We haven't decided this yet. 6, instead of draft lottery, I'm suggesting just do like NFL and let the worst draft best draft last, yay or no. So there's a lot of shit you try to institute, right? We ain't even figured out the draft. 7, due to COVID, do you guys want to increase roster spots by 1, 2, leave the same? 8, I'll be sending cash out for the dude. So that's a lot of shit that we're trying to institute in the beginning of a new season. And this is September 1st, mind you. So I can see why brother folks got all up in arms. Now, I ain't gonna read all this chat in the text group that came after that, but it got heated.
So when people start rambling, you just don't even pay attention to the votes no more. It becomes more about the conversation than the actual votes. Whereas in a group me, it kind of separates itself because the poll sticks to the side. So you could go look at the poll as a separate entity compared to the conversation. So it was just, you know, us having the group text and the group me, and half the people don't talk in the group text. You know what I'm saying? Half the people not using the group me. It's just, that's what we have the group me for fantasy, and it should be used for fantasy, not the group text. And as far as if you need to reach out to certain players, then it's best to just call them and tell them, hey, go on the group me and go vote.
I think ultimately that's the job of commissioners, getting folks to vote. That's the hardest part, getting the GMs to participate. Everything else will sort itself out. It's just getting people to respond. And if they don't respond, give them a cutoff and fuck them. If they, that's me. Yeah, I think everybody. So ultimately, I agree with you. What you were saying. We should stick to the group B. That's the forum and communication channel that we do for fantasy. Those polls work themselves automatically. We don't need to make it hard with the back and forth and the communication. I think that's our whole issue. It came down to communication problems, right? We're in a group text. Some people are missing things, they ain't participating. But I feel like in this shit that we have fantasy, everybody should know around this time of year, you should be paying attention to the group chat, or you don't care. And if you don't care, give us a heads up, but don't. I think his main issues, like some folks waited to the last minute to say, hey, I'm not playing this year, or I'm not feeling it, which put us in a bind because now you got to replace them or you got an uneven league.
Exactly. Which is kind of an unfair thing, to wait till the last minute to say so. Especially with the draft coming up, it's a lot of moving parts because you gotta not just replace people, but you gotta replace them with the right people. Like this league has a certain vibe to it. Like you care who you play on a weekly basis, and if you replace them with somebody else just random, it takes that aspect away. Like I enjoy beating certain people. Like I enjoy when I beat Cam. I enjoy when I beat you. I enjoy when I beat Buki. I hate Derek. So like certain people I just just like beating in this league. That makes every week fun. Like it makes it more fun to play people because of the people we have in the league. It's a little more competitive, and it's because we all know each other, and it's a different vibe.
Absolutely. And the shit that we're voting on, like in order to be a keeper league, in order to have a belt, in order to have a punishment, like that's a camaraderie shit. That has nothing to do with setting your roster and who wins. Like that's just part of trying to make it all fun, and that requires participation. So you got to be the right person, absolutely. And I feel, Commish, that's the hardest thing is keeping the right mix and getting folks to participate. So I feel like I got no issue if you say, hey, such ain't responding. I'm about to replace them. This is about a person I'm gonna bring in. Hey, we can't baby nobody in this shit because we all got shit. We all got shit to do.
Yes,
something we enjoy to do. It's a distraction from all the other shit we got to do. We should be able to enjoy it without somebody acting a dumbass. And I ain't shouting no names because I don't know who's at fault for all this at the end of the day. I feel like niggas just need to communicate. But with all that said, bro, we got to get into these matchups because the season has started. Week 1 has passed us by. Commish didn't join. He's supposed to be joining us. I think he texted me now. He got smacked up this weekend by yours truly, so maybe he has second thoughts again. I don't know if maybe at the time when he said he was going to do it, he had a different feeling, and now with reality done set in, how you do this weekend?
Oh man, I squeaked out a victory. I should have rolled Eric. I usually do every year, but what ended up happening was I had an injured player. My sorry Steeler running back. He went ahead and got himself hurt like he usually do, and ended up having to squeak out the victory. So it came down. Let's see, Brock Blockers. My guy James Conner. You see him there. Bumming it up. I also had Obo on the Lions. I had to cut him. Right after the game. I tried to cut him during the game.
Who you tried to cut? Let's start. This is your week 1. Who did you try to cut?
Kerryon Johnson, man.
Yeah, I saw him in the waiver wire. I got him on another squad. I was like, damn, Kerryon.
Yeah, that bum, man. I tried to cut him at mid-game, man. I didn't care about his points somewhere, man. Just get him off my team, man. Bring back into the game. But man, look, James Conner got hurt. But luckily, I was going to pick up his backup, and I kept monitoring. Like, I hope nobody picks him up. And I'm number 1 on the waiver wire. So if he does get hurt, Conner gets hurt, I pick up his backup immediately. I don't have to worry about that because I'm number 1 on the waivers. And I kind of regret not picking him up like I wanted to, so I could use my waiver on somebody else. But it's there for a reason. So,
bro, hold on. I'm looking at your roster. I'm trying to figure this out. Wait a minute. I'm missing something. So if I'm gonna guess you had like a late round, like what, number 11 or 12?
Yeah, I was late.
You was who?
I was last. I was number 12.
12. Oh, you took Tyreek Hill number 1 in your first, and then you took Mossert?
No, I took Conner.
James Conner. Okay, that's what I'm skipping. Okay, Conner. And he hurts. Ooh, so that's your second and number 2. And then who's your number 3?
My number 3, I believe, may have been DJ Moore.
Okay, so 3.
I may have went DJ Moore and Mostert. Those I went 3, 4. Mostert, DJ Moore, and then 5, 6 was Zach Moss. J.K. Dobbins was 5, 6. 7, 8. I went Josh Allen. Daniel Jones. So basically, man, look, honestly, I took a risk in this league. Like, you know, this league is running back hungry, man. So like once all the running backs is gone quick, man, I was just like, you know what, let me just get Tyreek Hill and see what could happen. I did believe that the Steeler offense was underrated this year because, you know, we treated Ben Roethlisberger as if he may have still been injured. So Steeler players were undervalued.
That's a good point.
As a whole, so, you know, I felt like Connor was the bell cow. He could have a great year. And then the bum got injured. You know, hopefully his ankle's okay. I'll monitor that situation. But, you know, going to next week, you know, without Connor, but I do have a backup, so it don't matter. I'm going to pick him up anyways. But
let's see. And you playing Hen Squad next week, right?
No, I do not play Hen Squad next week. No, I do not. I play
the Books. Oh, my bad, the Books.
Play Books. Play the Books, man.
One this week too, man. Look at your matchup. You got A-Rod, Amari Cooper, Diggs, Josh Jacobs, Chubb, Smith, Gordon. Okay. The Books don't look
look, he has a formidable team with a lot of good names on it. But don't worry, the Brock Blockers will make adjustments, and he will do what it takes to win. The Books know when we play, I come to win. Bookie will suffer.
All right, bro. All right, man. I like the J.K. Dobbins pickup. The Dobbins pickup might be a sneaky good come mid-season because I don't know about Mark. Big Mark this season, bro. I think this.
Oh, yeah, see, we have to have one keeper. I feel like Mark Ingram's 31. His contract isn't fully guaranteed next season. So them cutting him for J.K. Dobbins make a lot of sense. So, like, you know, he'd be a good keeper. I just feel like Zach Moss is way better. I just feel like that running back of the Bills is good, so I took Zach Moss.
Okay, and you got Zach Moss. So you got some, like, you're right. This league, you got to think. So when you're drafting, you have to think about your league, the chemistry, how people go. This is a running back hungry league because we just adopted PPR, and I think it's still at 0.25 or 0.5. I'm not
exactly.
Sure. So it's like running backs are a premium here. So I see, bro.
All right, so this week, you know, I play against the Books. One of my favorite opponents, you know, I dislike him in fantasy football, and he knows that I bring it every time I play him. I'm coming to bring it for the Books, man. You know, the Books talks a lot of mess. You know, me and him be at Hidden Soul. We'll be arguing all week about this, about who's gonna win or lose. We'll throw some money on this game, you know, and by the next week he'll do us right. And he'll have to pay me because we will beat them. You know, Aaron Rodgers was a fluke week. I guess a rival, you know, played a rival game against his What they played? Played the Vikings.
They played Detroit.
They played Detroit. They played Detroit this week. They played Vikings last week. They played Detroit this week. Hopefully they'll lean on the run this week. You know, that's what I do believe. Buki got away with one, you know, picking Aaron Rodgers late. And I told him that him picking him late, I just knew Aaron Rodgers was going to kill. Because whenever Buki take a late quarterback, he always goes off. That's how Buki always wins, man. Don't believe in Buki.
I mean, he needs to change his name, right? Look, Book used to be one of my rivals back when we were doing rivalry week. The Book's negative 22.5. The brother ain't been that in many seasons. But you know, he is league champion, so I guess we do got to give him salute, give him some props there. We're gonna have him on this call, not this week, but coming soon. Let me see here. Let's see. When do we play, Darren? Let me see. When we play. I don't want to get you ready for your disappointment. I'm gonna see what our weight.
I usually play you around like since I believe that the league has been the same. The games don't change. I play around week 9 or 10. I usually play kind of late.
I feel like it is, don't it? I feel like I always play Obino week 1. Is that it? Is it you got the same schedule week a year?
It's the same. It's been the same schedule the last 3 years, I believe, because I know I play Eric and Buki. They've been my rivals the last 3 years.
Oh, we play week 4.
Oh, week 4.
We play week 4.
But you have no chance, man.
I'm already projected to smack you, bro.
We have no,
It is.
we have no
It
chance.
is.
Now, do you really believe in the league projections? You actually look at those and say, hey, the projections.
I do. I use them as a measuring stick to make sure. Let's see what's going on. Because ADP didn't Mech auto drafted. This nigga put up the most points this week. 140 points.
He auto drafted.
Auto drafted. Auto draft. Remember, he tried to auto draft me. He didn't draft.
That's because this league we reach so much. Like players that are projected to go in the 4th, 3rd, 5th round of this league don't go to the 9th because they're not a running back.
It's a good point. Like auto drafted team is going to take the ADP, and those ADPs be high value. It doesn't time don't be a bum. If you're a decent player, just not what you want, not what guys are looking for in this league. So, man,
right. Boo scored 140. You know, mainly because he had I believe he has Devontae Adams. I'm not sure if he does.
Possibly, I gotta look at his squad. He may have to double up. 140. Let's look at the boots.
I know he has Rodgers. Rodgers went off.
You got A-Rod, Amari Cooper, Diggs, Josh Jacobs did a good game. A-Rod went off. You got Chubb, Melvin Gordon was there. Books, man. Books is formidable. Books knows what he's doing with fantasy football. He got 2 league titles on his name, don't he?
Yeah, he does. He won this league and the Champion League last season. He won both.
Shy, the Books is not to be.
He had a comeback. Everybody thought Cam was gonna win, and here came the Books, man.
We might have to do a special episode talking just about the Books, bro.